Perfect. Okay, go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable seat, whatever a comfortable seat means to you. So you can butterfly if you want to, even though that's kind of almost just as hard. But I drop my ankle down and the sole of my foot comes up. And then I drop my ankle down and the sole of my foot comes up. There's a nice little notch there for the heel to go. But if that's not happening, it doesn't have to. That's just the easiest way that we've found. Okay, hands on your knees. Close your eyes. Start to find your breath. Just breathing. Not doing anything funky with your breath, just inhaling and exhaling and just taking care and paying attention to it. Drop your chin into your chest. Stretch the back side of your neck. And then go ahead and take half circles. Right ear comes to your right shoulder. And then swing back through. Left ear comes to left shoulder. Doing that a couple times. And when you're ready, come all the way back to center. We're going to do some seated cat-cows. So you're going to place your hands on the kneecaps. You're going to inhale, pull the chest forward, look forward, roll the shoulders back, maybe even look up. And then exhale, round the back. Pull the belly button towards the back of the room, look in between your legs. And then flow through that. Inhaling, pulling the chest forward. And exhaling, rounding the back. Okay, when you're ready, come back to center, open your eyes, and pop forward into a tabletop position. So you're gonna have to roll. Once you're in your tabletop, so you can either swing your legs around and come up, or you can roll onto your knees and swing your legs back. Yeah. So once you're in your tabletop, bring your knees as wide as the mat, let your toes touch, and scoot your hips back to your heels. And then bring your hands forward for child's pose. Yeah. Feeling your chest gravitate towards the floor. And go ahead and come up onto your fingertips. And we're going to walk our fingertips over to the left side off of the mat. Until you feel a stretch on your right side body. And then back through center and over to the right side to stretch the left side body. And when you're ready, come all the way back to center. Come on up into a tabletop. Bring your knees hip-width distance apart. Look in between your legs and make sure that you cannot see your toes. Your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Your knees are directly underneath your hips. And then we're going to do regular cat-cow. So drop the belly, pull the chest forward, look forward. And then exhale, round the back, bring the chin into the chest, push the belly to the sky. Inhale, drop the belly, pull the chest forward, look forward. Exhale, round the back. Bring the chin into the chest, belly to the sky. Do this a few times. Trying to get all the kinks out and the squeakiness out of our body and our spine before we get started. And when you're ready, go ahead and come back to center. Keep your knees where they're at and come into a child's pose, so not wide-legged, just regular. And reach your fingers really far out in front of you. Spread your fingers wide, plant your thumbs down, pointer fingers face forward. And then come back up, but flip the toes and pike the hips for a downward facing dog. You can bend your knees here. The most important thing in your downward facing dog is that your chest is trying to gravitate towards your thighs. Your shoulders are away from your ears. Breathing here. Yeah. Good. Downward facing dog is hard, but it's not supposed to suck. Okay, when you're ready, bend those knees deeper. Come up onto the tippy toes. Look in between your fingertips and slowly step to the front of the mat. Little steps at a time until you get to your fingers. And then find ragdoll. Ragdoll is the same pose we did yesterday. Just cross your elbows over each other and hang. Yeah. Maybe you sway. Maybe you stay still. Go ahead and release your fingertips to the floor and one vertebrae at a time. Roll yourself all the way up to standing. And when you get to the top, roll the shoulders back and exhale. Beautiful. So place your feet hip width distance apart. Spread your toes wide. Your big toe is facing forward. Bring your hands by your sides, palms facing out. Inhale, sweep the hands up to the sky, palms face each other. Exhale, swan dive all the way down, leading with the heart, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, pull the shoulders away from the ears, nice. Exhale, folds deeper. Inhale, sweep the hands to the sky, hands up, look up. Exhale, all the way back down, swan dive to your toes, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, folds deeper. Let the head hang, look in between your legs. Inhale, sweep the hands to the sky. Palms up, look up. Exhale, hands come to prayer at heart and center. Hands by your sides. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way to the sky. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold deeper, bend the knees, plant the hands, and step back into your plank. You can drop your knees if you'd like to, but Igor, since I know you've done a couple already, you can shift forward on your tippy toes and chaturanga down. Yeah. Inhale, scoop the chest forward, baby cobra or full cobra. Yeah. And then, yep, downward facing dog. Flip the toes, pike the hips, up and back. Beautiful. You can walk the dog here. It just means bending one knee and then bending the other. And then when you're ready, bend both of your knees, come up onto your tippy toes, look in between your hands, and step to the front of the mat. Yeah. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the hands to the sky. Hands up, look up. Let's just go all the way down. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold deeper, bend the knees, plant the hands, vinyasa. Step back into your plank. Shift forward on your tippy toes, chaturanga. And then I'm going to be back here so that you can see me, just in case. We're going to do some ab work. So you're going to inhale the right leg to the sky. Exhale, bring your knee into your nose so we kind of shift forward into a plank. And then back to the sky. And then we're going to bring our knee to our right elbow. And then back to the sky. And the knee over to left elbow. Back to the sky. One more time into the nose. And then lift the knee closer to your face. Yeah. Back to the sky. And then go ahead and drop it. Other side. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Bring your knee into your nose. Back to the sky. Left elbow. Back to the sky. Two more. Right elbow. Back to the sky. And then into the nose. And then hold it here and bring your knee note closer to your nose. And then back to the sky again. And then regular dog, downward facing dog. How do you feel? Good? Yep. You're like, I'm ready to get out of my downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg to the sky. Feels good. It feels good to move your body. I mean, you move your body a lot, but it feels good to move it in the morning. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, step the foot in between your hands for a high lunge. Yeah, so back heel stays lifted. Hands come to the sky. So biggest thing here is a lot of the times we try to straighten that back leg, and then if our pelvic bowl was an actual bowl, the water would tilt out, and then we're just compressing our low back. So if you bend your back knee, then you have some mobility here. You can pull your belly button up, and you can try to straighten that leg while keeping your bowl. So just, can you feel that?
I think so.
So yeah, looks good. And then hands to the sky. Yeah. Breathing here. Inhale, reach higher. Exhale, hands come all the way down. Plant your hands on the inside of your foot. Take a longer stance and just hang out here. Yeah, you can drop your back knee if you'd like to. If you're like, what the heck, this is awful. Breathing here. And then shimmy that foot back into your plank and take a vinyasa. You can always skip the push-up. You can just go straight to downward facing dog. And you can always skip downward facing dog and just go straight to child's pose. And when you're ready, inhale left leg to the sky. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands, high lunge. Yeah, and then we come up, first things first, bend the back knee, find our pelvic bowl, and then hands sweep up to the sky. Good. Shoulders away from the ears, but the fingertips are constantly reaching higher. So we're getting taller with our spine, not with our shoulder blades. Beautiful. Inhale, one more big breath up. Exhale, hands come down and plant on the inside of the leg. See if you can shimmy yourself into a deeper lunge. This is called low lunge. So here you're trying to sink your hips, but pull your back thigh to the sky. So the gravity's pulling the hips, but not the knee. Good. Remembering to breathe. And then when you're ready, shimmy that foot back into a plank and take your vinyasa. Okay, right leg comes to the sky on an inhale. And then exhale, step the foot in between the hands, warrior two. So drop your back heel down. Yeah. And swing your arms out to the sides, warrior two. So the biggest thing here and the way that you're going to get the best inner thigh stretch is if you're taking your ball, you have a ball and socket joint. If you're taking this and you're opening, you're not trying to wonk your knee, but you're trying to gravitate the top of your thigh down. Good. Breathing here. Lengthening the spine, dropping the shoulders. You feel like you've got two separate people pulling on your fingers in opposite directions. Good. And then we're going to come into a triangle pose. It's so hard to relax. I didn't. It's so hard to relax in the jungle. Okay.
Spray yourself in the butt.
So straighten your leg. Kick your hip out like you have attitude. So you got to stretch right here. Shift forward and then triangle. Drop your hand. Reach your other hand to the sky. So my hand stops at my shin, but if you can reach the floor, you can reach the floor. But yeah, seems like your hand likes to drop there. But we're trying to keep your chest open. So even though your chest is trying to gravitate towards the floor, you're trying to keep it open. Good. Good morning. Good afternoon. When you're ready, re-find your warrior two. And then windmill your hands to the ground and take a vinyasa. Okay. You can go there if you'd like to. Are you going to teach from that angle? Yeah, I'll teach from this angle. You guys can do my message. No. Yeah. Okay, Igor, when you're ready, inhale the left leg up to the sky. And then step the foot in between the hands for a warrior two. So drop your back heel down, come all the way up. And then, so here's the thing. Again, we want to rotate. This is a ball and socket joint, so it can do this. So we want to pull it so that we're getting the stretch on the inner thigh. And reaching your hands out. What's going to happen is you start to get tired, your knee is going to want to buckle in. So that's just what we're trying to get the opposite of. Good. And then go ahead and straighten your leg. Kick your hip out like you have attitude. Shift forward with those fingertips. And then drop down. Yeah. So two things are happening. We're reaching down, and we're also keeping our chest open and trying to touch the sky. So you're trying to touch the floor and the ceiling at the same exact time while not collapsing your chest. It's easier now because there's no more bugs. Go ahead and come back to your warrior two. And then windmill your hands down to the ground and vinyasa.
Favorite new word.
Vinyasa. Now, I was trained by an Ashtangi, and you do one pose and then you do a vinyasa. And you do one pose and then you do a vinyasa. You do like over 100 vinyasas in one class.
Because you wouldn't think that you could do 100 push-ups, but you do.
But you can, yeah. Okay. Hannah, do you feel warm enough to join us? Okay. Igor, you can rest in child's pose or you can hang out in downward facing dog. Let's do a nice little twist here. Let's come up for a thread the needle. So come up into a tabletop and spread your knees a little bit wider, as wide as the mat. Inhale, sweep the right hand to the sky. Exhale, thread the needle. Good. That hand has options. It can stay exactly where it's at. It can walk to the front corner of the mat, straightening out, lengthening your side body. You can put it in a partial bind, but we're not binding today, so that's just going to open your chest, but it's not going to prepare you for anything. Nice. Oh, you know what we can do, since you guys are advanced? If you're feeling good, you can take that back leg and you can pop the leg up so that you're on the tippy toes. And then if you're feeling extremely good, you can shoot that leg to the sky, pointing the toes or extending the heel, but you just don't want your foot just like hanging out in the sky. So wherever you want it. Nice. And if you roll out of this, there's like 99% chance you aren't going to injure yourself. When you're ready, go ahead and lower down, plant the hand, and peel yourself out, looking at those right fingertips as you lift them back up to the sky. And then we'll come into the other side. Inhale, sweep the left hand all the way up. Exhale, thread the needle all the way through. Right hand has those options, whichever one you want. Get yourself comfortable here, breathing here, and then if you feel balanced, you can find yourself in that lifted position. So first thing you do is tuck the toes, extend the knee, and then the heel just lifts. Like somebody tied a string around your ankle and they're lifting your foot to the ceiling. And if we fall out of it, we just giggle and try again. Beautiful. We strive for progress. When you're ready, drop that heel down and unwind yourself, looking at those fingertips as you reach them back up to the sky, and then plant the hand for a regular tabletop. And then find your downward facing dog. Yes, question. Again, so that we have two angles? Yeah, that'd be amazing. What's good about this is it's just you two, and we can edit videos. Okay. We could be fancy and switch the angle like they do in the talking videos. Oh, thank you. Okay, when you are ready, find your downward facing dog. So while we're here, Igor, plant your pointer fingers down like this, and then rotate and try to get your elbows out. You're wrapping your armpits into your chest. Slippery. I know, after the mosquito spray. So, look, I'm just going to show you. So I'm here, right? And then I'm going to try to pull my elbows forward, but my fingertips are going to want to come up. So I plant my fingertips, keep my elbows forward, come back, and then see how my shoulders are like, I'm trying to wrap my armpits towards my chest so that I can come back. So it's more using the muscle than the joint. Just makes it suck less. Downward dog. Yours like, Brie, I've been in downward facing dog for like 10 minutes total. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands. High lunge. Come all the way up. Exhale, warrior two. Drop your back foot down. Good. Straighten your leg, reverse your warrior. Keep that leg straight. Come all the way back. Kick your hip out like you have attitude. Shift forward and drop down. Triangle pose. Nice. Come all the way up. Bring your hands to your hips. Rotate your left toes towards the pool deck. Bring your feet a little bit wider. Point your toes in a little bit so that your heels are kind of either parallel or out. And start to lean forward until your fingertips maybe reach the floor. Look underneath. Good. So as you find space, I'm a really tight body, so I can barely touch my fingertips to the floor. But as you start to find space, you can walk your fingertips closer towards the back of your mat. Yeah. Breathing here. So come up for a halfway lift. Walk your fingers over kind of to the right. And then plant your left fingertips down. Open your right hand to the sky. Woohoo! Breathing here. And then when you're ready, drop that fingertip down, walk over to the left side of your mat, and open up your right. Yeah. Okay, drop those fingertips down. Bring your hands to your hips. Come all the way up so that we're just in that wide-legged. And then here's where it's going to get funky. We're going to rotate our front toes back and then pop our back heel up again. Okay, high lunge. Breathing here. Just to do our high lunge on the other side, but then we're going to drop down for our warrior two again. Yeah. Breathing here. Straighten your front leg. Reverse your triangle. The back hand is soft on the back knee. And then regular triangle pose. So come back to those warrior two arms. Kick your hip back like you have attitude. Shift forward and drop down. Most are trying to get a stretch in your legs, then reach your fingertips to the floor. Go ahead and start to come out of this back to your warrior two. Take a big inhale and then exhale, windmill your hands down to the floor. Vinyasa. Good. Okay, when you're ready, right leg to the sky. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands. High lunge, come all the way up. Okay, We're going to bring our hands behind our backs here. Clasp your hands together, roll the shoulders back, and then pull the fingertips down. Maybe getting the hands together. Maybe they stay like this. Maybe we look up to the sky as we pull our knuckles towards the floor. Good. Okay, go ahead and unclasp your hands. Come all the way back up. Shift forward, reaching your fingertips towards the back of the room. And maybe you come into an airplane pose. Beautiful. So these fingers are long. Somebody's pulling on your fingers. Beautiful. If you're feeling like a crazy person, fingertips can come forward to the front of the room. Woo! And then drop your hands for a standing split. Keep your leg lifted. This is always funny to me because like 99% of the population is not in a split. Okay, and then drop that back foot down for low lunge, and then step back into your vinyasa. And when you're ready, left leg shoots to the sky. Step in between your hands, high lunge. Take the hands behind your back. Clasp the hands together. If you want to be funky, you can reverse your grip. Roll the shoulders back, pull the knuckles down. Maybe your hands clasp together, maybe they don't. Maybe you look up to the sky, you're just opening your front body. Breathing here. Sinking down with your hips as you're reaching up with your collarbones. Okay, start to unclasp your fingers, reaching your fingertips back with a lot of energy, shifting forward, shifting forward, shifting forward until that back foot starts to float off the floor. Airplane pose. Pretending like there's a wall behind you and you're slamming your heel into the wall. If you're feeling crazy, you can bring your fingertips forward. This is called Warrior 3 pose. And then drop those fingertips down, standing splits.
Are your hips straight or open?
Hips are straight here. Yeah. We'll do the open one today too, but not this pose. And then step back into your lunge and vinyasa. Right leg swings to the sky. Step in between your hands for a warrior 2. So plant the back heel down, windmill the hands up. Straighten your leg, shift your right toes forward so we are in that wide-legged stance again. This time, clasp the hands behind your back, roll the shoulders back, open the chest, and then maybe forward fold. This is a real challenge because your hands were there for support, but now your hands are behind you. So you're using your core to stabilize, not bonk your head, but then you're also trying to get a really good stretch here in so many different places in your body. Okay, drawing your knuckles towards the floor, lift yourself all the way back up, unclasp the hands, rotate the left toes forward for a warrior 2, and then windmill your hands down to the mat, vinyasa. Okay, go ahead and come onto your knees. I'm going to demonstrate the pose. Okay, so we've already done a closed hip one. We're going to do the open hip one. So we're going to come from here, warrior two, like a side angle pose, but we're going to shift forward, shift forward, shift forward, shift forward. Maybe our fingertips touch the floor. What's going to happen, because I haven't done the class with you guys, I'm all cold. What's going to happen is your toes are going to try to buckle in to close off your hip. But hopefully we've warmed up the inner sides of your hips that you're going to be able to stay in this. We're going to lean forward, lean forward, lean forward. That back foot is going to come off. The goal is to reach the floor without collapsing all the way down. Typically in a yoga class, we'd have like a block to put your weight on. I don't know, Igor, how you feel about putting your hand on your water bottle or on the floor? Yeah. So big things. Your back heel is straight, and this is the one where our hips are open and your fingertips are reaching. Your toes are going to want to buckle in, your knees going to want to buckle in. Try to keep that straight. If that makes my hip drop, I'm trying to keep this straight while opening. Okay? Questions? You're like, wow. No, no, no. Downward facing dog. We'll flow through it. I just wanted to show it to you.
You shared your least favorite pose yesterday?
This is your least favorite pose?
It's my least favorite pose, yeah.
So if you want to, you can come into a sugar cane too. If you get there. If you're feeling strong and you're feeling good, I'm just going to call sugar cane. But when we're here, I typically need a block. When we're here, you reach back, you find your foot for a sugar cane.
What's the difference between a sugar cane and a dancer? Just because dancer, the arm goes up?
No, dancer, you're standing and your hip is forward.
Sugar cane's the
So
open.
this is dancer with the hip forward. So you'd come into dancer from your warrior three because your hips are forward. Sugar cane, your hips are open, you're coming in from half moon. But my fingers aren't touching the floor. Your fingers are supposed to touch the floor. Yeah. Yeah. And then same thing with dancer, you're trying to make that space bigger. Okay. Downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, right leg to the sky, leading with the heel. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands. High lunge pose. Keep your heel lifted. Swing those hands all the way up to the sky. Beautiful. Breathing here. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten your knee. Kick your hip back. Triangle pose. Inhale back to your triangle with your straight legs. Inhale back up. Reverse your triangle. Up and back. Come all the way back to your warrior two. We're just going to do a quick side angle. Bend your knee. Shift forward. Drop your forearm to your knee. Hand comes up to the sky just so you can feel it. Try to find less weight on your knee and feel your obliques lifting. Come all the way back to your warrior two. Let's find half moon pose. Shift forward, shift forward, shift forward. Maybe that back foot flies off the ground. Maybe the fingertips come towards the ground. Someone's pulling on your heel. So Igor, flex your foot so that your toe, yeah. Maybe you're looking at your fingertips on the floor. Maybe you can look at your fingertips on the ceiling. We're trying to keep our toes and our bottom knee straight while simultaneously opening that top hip and feeling that good stretch. Woo! It's part of yoga. Yeah. And then you can find your sugar cane if you want to here. Yes. Oh man.
And I might not still.
Oh, yeah, nice. Nice. Okay, without flinging, go ahead and undo your sugar cane. See if you can re-find your warrior two. Woo-hoo. And windmill your hands all the way down to the mat. So the goal is to try to do everything with grace. Oh, vinyasa. The goal is to try to do everything with grace and with ease, flowing through all this challenging stuff, all these pretzel moves with just ease and comfort, trying to blend the effort and the ease together. We're putting a lot of effort with our bodies, but then our faces are calm, our breathing is clear. That's where the ease comes in. Okay, left leg to the sky. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands, high lunge. Sweep the hands up. And then on your exhale, warrior two. Triangle pose. Straighten the knee, kick the hip, shift forward, drop down. Come all the way back up. Let's reverse your triangle. Palm is high-fiving the back wall. Back to your warrior two. We're going to side angle here, so we're just going to prep it. Shift forward, drop the forearm to the knee, reach up to the sky. Even though the forearm is to the knee, it's almost like it's not there. Our obliques and our midsection are working so hard to keep our chest up that it's almost like we don't even need our elbow. Come back to your warrior two. We're going to find our half moon pose. So shift forward, shift forward, shift forward, shift forward. That back foot pops off. Maybe we touch the floor. We are extending our foot. Good. So as you do this, your hip is going to be like, no, 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 I want to face the floor. And you're like, no, 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 I want you to face towards the pool. And then your bottom toes are going to be like, okay, I'm coming too. And you want to keep your bottom toes where they're at. If you want to find your sugar cane here, you just bend your top knee, reach back forward towards your foot. Yeah. Top hip is like, okay, I'm going to face towards the ground now. So that's a constant argument that you're having in your mind. Unwind and see if you can very easily find your warrior two. Woo! Windmill your hands down to the mat. Vinyasa. Inhale your right leg to the sky and bring it through for pigeon pose. So your knee comes to your wrist. Like yes, just how we did last night. Step your back toes back. Settle yourself. You're gravitating your hips towards the floor, and then you can relax here. I'll give you a minute or so in this pose. When you're ready, come all the way up onto your fingertips. Walk your hands over to the left. Reach back. Find your foot. If you're feeling really flexy today, you can find, it's not going to happen for me, you can find your foot into your elbow. How do I cue it other than just doing it? You like caterpillar your foot into your elbow, and then you can reach up and over. You can find a mermaid pose, but that doesn't seem like it's happening.
With their hand?
Yeah, so your foot goes into your elbow. without tipping over.
Your foot into your this elbow,
Mhm.
and then this one
Mhm.
comes here.
Mhm. But it has to be like really. Let me see. So you just like caterpillar it in, and then with your free hand, you come up and over.
Without falling down onto the right hip.
Yeah.
That's the
So this is a version of dancer. You can actually get into your dancer. Instead of having your hand, you can slide your foot into your elbow in your dancer and bring your arms up and overhead. It's just a deeper quad stretch.
something to work towards.
Something to work
Thank
towards.
you.
There's always a more peak posture. Without flinging that foot to the ground, come all the way back and find a vinyasa. Inhale your left leg to the sky and thread that knee through for pigeon on the other side. Step your right leg back, find yourself here, settle in. You can stay on your fingertips or you can collapse all the way down. Okay, when you are ready, go ahead and come up onto those fingertips. Walk your fingers towards the right side of your mat. You can reach back for that quad stretch. And then if you're feeling like, oh, my quad is loose, then you can try to find that mermaid pose.
I feel back onto my hip. That's the problem. As opposed to staying.
If you feel like you can fall back onto your hip, grab your foot and then come back up without like putting yourself in too deep of a position, that's okay.
I don't feel like it can support itself.
I mean, the final pose is not the destination. It's not about the destination. It's not about the final pose. It's about getting there with comfort, with effort, without hurting yourself, without ego.
But you can do the pigeon theoretically without the hand to support it.
Yeah, theoretically.
That's the goal.
Okay, without flinging it back towards the ground, go ahead and unwind, come all the way back, find your vinyasa or just straight to downward facing dog. This will be our last vinyasa. Hallelujah.
Igor loves vinyasa.
Okay, drop your knees down and go ahead and come into a seat. We've got one more really, really, really deep stretch, and then we'll go into relaxing stretches. So this pose is my very least favorite pose in the book of poses. It's called fire log pose because your shins are supposed to stack on top of each other like a fire log. That does not happen with my legs. So the two important things is your shins are parallel towards the front of the room, towards me. Your feet are flat against opposite sides of the wall. The goal is to get the butt cheek down and the knee down. But if you're here like this, like me, that's a-okay. If you've got it, go ahead and shimmy your bottom foot closer to me. Yeah. Just enough so that if you were to collapse your knee, it would come into the little hole of your ankle. And then if you feel good, you can reach your fingertips forward and even fold to put your forehead on the floor. Yeah. But this is how tight I am. I just have to.
Just genetics, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't do the mermaid, and you could do the mermaid,
Yeah.
so it's all fair and love and yoga.
So first thing is bottom shin is parallel towards the front of the room. Other leg, you can bring your hands way back and you just plant it here. And then as you find space, you come up and you should be feeling this stretch on the top outer hip. And then as you start to get deeper and deeper and deeper, then you can fold. I used to teach yogis who would be like forehead on the floor in this. And here I am at the front of the class like this.
It's supposed to be stretching down here.
It can stretch whatever.
I don't do anything here. I only do this side.
You have really, really, really long limbs, so it might be doing it differently on you. But see if you can put your foot on top of your knee instead of on your calf, like on top of your thigh almost.
Box play again.
Yeah. And then you're gravitating. Do you feel it on the outside of your top hip?
A little bit now here too. It's mostly this part still open.
I can feel it there too. You see how yours is dropping on the floor? Mine is still lifted. If I start to drop this to the floor, I can start to feel it more. But I'm tighter on my top one. That's just the way the body's work. Hannah, where do you feel it? On both hips.
Yeah, on both hips.
Yeah.
But if I do this consistently, I will be able to put my forehead on the floor. But it's all right in here that's tight. How's it feel on you? Nothing hurts, right? No knee pain or anything?
Yeah, the thing you don't want here is to gravitate. When we say like gravitate and push and pull, we don't want you to like push your knee. We want you to find that movement in the ball and socket joints. So we want you to find that movement in the shoulders, in the wrists, in the hips, in the ankles, never your elbows or your knees, because your elbows and your knees don't go side to side. They just hinge back and forth.
I can feel like the ligaments
Mm-hmm.
in the hips. I think those ligaments, I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up.
Your muscle attaches to the ligament, and the ligament attaches to the joint, the bone. Super flexi-lexies, they start to get into ligament stretching. Tight yogis like me, I'm never gonna reach my ligament.
But you're doing it anyway.
But I'm doing it anyways.
Awesome.
It's about the journey. So go ahead and come all the way up, undo those legs, and then reach your hands back and windshield wipe your knees. Just find a little movement. Okay, let's go to the other side. So bottom shin parallel. If you look down, once you're in the pose, you should have a triangle of your limbs, of your legs. Other foot comes up, more so on top of your thigh than your knee. Fire log pose. You can start back with your fingers way back, and then you start to sit up, sit up, sit up. And the goal is for this knee to be on the floor, this knee to be on this foot, and then fingers forward, folding. So you stop where you feel the stretch. And then always trying to flex your feet. The reason why you flex your feet is to protect your joints. You keep the muscle activated and you don't start just going into the joint. I had a yoga teacher that would just sit in this pose watching TV. It's like, you're my enemy. Okay, when you're ready, come on out of this without flinging your limbs. Just windshield wipe the knees again. Then we're going to make our way all the way onto our backs. Windshield wiping is the best.
My butt's sore from all the high lunges.
Oh, from yesterday, from all the lunges. You know what I bet you it was from? I don't know if have you ever like engaged your back leg before in a warrior? Like purposely engaged it? That just like fires up that whole back leg, so that could have been what it was too. But go ahead and hug yourself in as much as you can, bringing your knees into your forehead, and then staying here, keeping your knees up high, bring your arms out to your sides, and drop your knees all the way down to the left for a twist. If you want more of a stretch, take your top leg, straighten the top leg out, see if you can reach your toes. It's like a friendship circle.
Your brave soul.
I never back down for a challenge.
It'll be the death of both of us.
Okay, when you're ready, rebend that knee. Use your core, bring your legs back to center, and then drop them to the other side. The most important thing here is that your shoulders stay on the mat, even if your knees don't touch the mat. So I'd rather have your knees in the air than your shoulders in the air. And if you feel that extra sensation, straighten your top leg and see if you can grab your big toe. It's okay. Go ahead and come all the way back to center. Hug yourself. Give yourself a big hug. And drop your feet down. We have one more pose. Drop your feet down onto the mat. We're going to do bridge pose. See if you can find your heels with your fingertips. Plant your hands into the mat and lift your hips off the floor. Good. Breathing here. So seeing if you can unclench your butt cheeks and lift your hips higher. And unclench your butt cheeks and lift your hips higher. And then almost one vertebrae at a time, lower yourself all the way down. Give yourself one last really big hug. And find yourself in our final resting pose, Shavasana. Releasing yourself out. Unscrunching your eyebrows. Unclamping your jaw. Taking your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Doing a body check-in.